Roblox isn't a place where we filter all the text and the voice, where we monitor for critical harms, where there's no image sharing or any of the things that might happen from that.
I want to start off by saying that we all want to keep Roblox safe. We share this view, and we know that there's members of our community who feel strongly about that too. And you know what? We welcome them as part of the dialogue about how to keep Roblox safer.
I want to highlight, we have always had safety as one of our top priorities, and we're not waiting for the law or legislation. We've innovated with age estimation on our own because we want to keep people on our platform.
This whole situation is kind of crazy.
Everybody go donate to this boy Schelp.
This is probably the worst decision this company has ever made.
Hashtag free Schelp on God. Yeah, they actually need Schelp.
I'm wishing Schelp the best.
Roblox, you need to do something.
There's got to be something done. Nobody at Roblox listens to us. I'm frustrated, man. I'm frustrated.
Why should we support a platform that is taking steps to prevent predators from getting caught?
Roblox has just lost $12 billion in market value following their response to their cease and desist letter against me. Just for context, I'm someone who's gotten 6 predators within their community arrested in real life. That loss, though, isn't on me. It's a direct result of Roblox's own response to its child safety crisis. Instead of addressing the real issues, Roblox has doubled, tripled, even quadrupled down. They've put out statements after statements painting me and my team as reckless vigilantes while claiming that their platform is safe, when it absolutely is not. People are just seeing through this, and that's why a huge movement has started online called Free Schelp. It's been trending everywhere. Multiple members of Congress have now called out the company's child abuse problem, and the Attorney General of Louisiana has filed a giant lawsuit against the company for, and I quote, prioritizing user growth, revenue, and profits over child safety. The day after the Attorney General's lawsuit was filed, Roblox's market value dropped by $12 billion. In response, the company scrambled to roll out new policies targeting the very not safe for work games featured in the lawsuit and my videos, like for instance bathroom simulators. Mind you, the community has been calling out these games for years now, but still, even after everything, instead of removing these blatantly inappropriate experiences, Roblox simply slapped a 17+ label on them. They also launched a ban wave against some of the worst games they've knowingly hosted for years, games that have led thousands of children to getting extorted, and worse. Roblox's actions are nothing more than damage control for the problems they've allowed to fester, when the entire community was screaming at them to fix these problems. And the community saw that killing the messenger was an act of war. Shortly after these changes, Roblox released a video so bad that it was community noted on Twitter twice. David Baszucki, the CEO of Roblox, Matt Kaufman, the Chief Safety Officer of Roblox, and Eliza Jacobs, the Senior Director of Product Policy, did a 45-minute tech talk. Most of this is just corporate jumbo, but they go ahead and respond directly to their vigilante policy. Before I show this, I want you to remember, I'm the only person that Roblox has targeted with this vigilante policy that they just created. Not even my team was moderated or given any legal letter. I begged for a clear line and even offered to keep much of my work private to help, and I'm no way obligated to do that, but instead they went straight after me, moderating my accounts and sending a cease and desist before I could even react to the policy. And let's be clear about one thing, I'm not a vigilante. That means I'm taking the law into my own hands. We work with law enforcement, which is why we have arrests. Roblox refuses to say my name because they'd have to acknowledge those arrests. But make no mistake, if they're responding to the outrage, which is about me and
Sorry to interrupt, but this is important. The shooter who murdered my sweet little Daniel.
this is what they had to say about it. They first start off the interview by talking about how vigilantes started out as a good thing.
Both inside of Roblox, and I think that there are lots of people outside of Roblox who really have the best intentions and the welfare of our community at heart. We all want to keep Roblox safe. And you know what? We welcome them in part of the dialogue about how to keep Roblox safer. And we have members of the community in these vigilante groups that started off in a really good place. They started off by saying like, hey, they're reporting on issues on Roblox. They're talking about how we could do better. And you know, we paid really careful attention.
This statement is just laughably hilarious. If Roblox is really paying attention, then what about when my mom emailed you guys about my own case? What did you do then? Nothing. Actually, you kept paying the guy for years afterwards until you were literally forced to do something about it. If what Roblox was claiming was actually true, them listening to the community, why are the biggest content creators leaving your exclusive YouTuber program in protest of how you're moderating your platform? And I'm gonna actually bring up something later in this interview to show you how much of a joke this is. This here is Meep City, one of the most controversial games on Roblox. Creecraft, one of the largest Roblox YouTubers, joined this game and within 4 seconds was exposed to not safe for work content. The community has been complaining about this game for almost a decade now, but Roblox has still continued to leave this game up and platform it. But CEO David Baszucki mentions this game by name, and here's their philosophy on this.
You know, I can see some of our community naming experiences on Roblox and just say, take it down, take it down, take it down. I'd say examples could be Meep City, for example. Can you share, like, why should that be up? Should that be down? Like, what's up?
I think one thing that's really challenging on this global immersive interactive platform is that we have content created by developers and creators and content created by the community, by the users that are in that game. And one thing that we really try to do is be fair to our developers and to not moderate them for the behavior of their users.
How is this a crazy math problem? This is so simple. The creator of this game wants these people in their game. How is this even controversial? The developer is giving the tools to the player to make this inappropriate content. And that is the problem with Roblox. Roblox turns a blind eye unless the developers are blatantly making not safe for work games. And even then, it is still on the line if Roblox will take action. Roblox might have just went back on their word regarding Meep City. This game had every inappropriate feature removed from it pretty much overnight. It's unknown if Roblox made Alex Neutron, the creator of Meep City, do this, but either way, it shows the public pressure is working. Games that Roblox is doubling down on are folding, so that's why it's really important to keep speaking up about this.
Then we saw something change. What we saw is that some of these groups started engaging with the community in ways that violated our policies. And so let me explain what that means. They would go and create accounts on Roblox claiming to be a child.
Roblox keeps repeating this same talking point, that I'm impersonating and pretending to be a child. But here's the reality. You have to pretend to be a child because if the predators knew they were talking to an adult, that wouldn't even be a crime. You guys seem to be more upset that I'm pretending to be a child than predators are decoys. And if it wasn't our decoys, it would be a real person. It's also worth noting that the FBI, ICAC, and local law enforcement all use these same exact tactics. Would Roblox be willing to send them a cease and desist too? And their claim that I'm impersonating children is flat out false. Impersonation means I'm stealing the identity of a real child. From the very beginning, we've never used real kids. We don't send pictures of real children, and we create totally new identities where every single photo that's sent is of someone that is of age. The only difference is we tell these people that we are underage. This is flat out a lie, what they're claiming. But what happens next is so wild that the CEO of Roblox cuts off the chief safety officer.
And then they would enter into game servers and they would go and start asking everybody around them, how old are you? And they were seeking out adults. If you said that you were, move on. But if you said that you were 25, then they would start engaging in conversations and they would try and use those conversations to simulate.
Matt, is this anecdotal? Because I know we have chat logs for all chat on Roblox and historical records. Are you able to kind of...
David totally derails that conversation. That statement is probably the most wild made by Matt Kaufman in this whole interview. To simulate what, Matt Kaufman? Because it's not simulation. These are predators thinking that they're talking to someone that is real, and they a lot of times want to show up in person and do stuff to them in real life. And in my opinion, this shows how little Roblox actually cares about this problem. They can say whatever they want, they can talk about all the new safety features that they're rolling out, but it means nothing if lawsuits are being filed every single week against the company and headlines are making the media about a new horrible situation happening because of this platform. I also want to say how they totally mischaracterize how I run my decoy operation. We are never the first to engage with any of the predators. They always contact our decoy account first.
So we saw these actors, they're pretending to be kids, they're trying to find adults, and then what they're doing is they're trying to move the conversation as quickly as possible to other platforms that don't have the type of monitoring and policies that Roblox has. And then they were using that activity that happened on other platforms to create situations that they would then video, they would report to the police, and then only after would they let Roblox know.
Roblox is accusing me of encouraging adults to talk inappropriately to people they shouldn't. That is not true, and if it was true, I wouldn't have a single arrest. We present ourselves as a naive kid who doesn't know about these topics. Crimes like this should obviously be reported to law enforcement first, not Roblox. If Roblox is notified before the police, they can delete accounts, tip off the predators they're being investigated, and give them a chance to erase valuable evidence that the police need to prosecute. The fact that these predators are on the platform to begin with shows that their safety systems have failed. If Roblox did their jobs, there wouldn't be anybody for us to find. Roblox also claims that I'm moving these players to other platforms, but those platforms are linked directly on Roblox's own site. Roblox has actually even partnered with some of those platforms. They even own a bot on that other platform. Anyone can make an account 13 plus and see social media links on Roblox, and unsurprisingly, people in real life have been abducted because of this feature that Roblox allows. And when they say I'm creating these situations, that's just insulting. I'm not creating situations. These predators are trying to grab people within your community.
And there's a bunch of issues in here. Number one, the violation of our policies about being honest about how old you are. Number two, moving conversations off platform. And number three, waiting to tell Roblox when they identified violative behavior to come and tell us so we could take action.
In Matt Kaufman's own words, in articles about vigilantes, he said law enforcement officials are best positioned to investigate potential crime. So why is he criticizing us for going to the police first? And it's not like we're not even reporting these things to Roblox. We do. We give Roblox the same Google Drive that we give to the cops. They have the first chat log till the very end where they're in handcuffs. And we have numerous fully documented instances where Roblox refused to take action until after we released videos that got millions of views. Also, waiting to tell Roblox in general is a policy violation? If you were on Roblox and went straight to the authorities instead of reporting it to Roblox first, could you technically be violating Roblox's terms of service?
I think some of these groups started off in a really good place, and they started off, really, and they still do really care about the community. The actions that they were taking were putting our community at greater risk and were violations of our policy.
He says I'm putting the community at risk. Roblox even went as far to accuse me and my team of being similar to predators. Think about that. They're implying I am preying on predators. So to Matt Kaufman and David Bazooki, I'm very sorry for preying on the predators of your platform and getting them arrested and put in handcuffs, because I didn't ever want to see kids go through what I went through.
These actors that were coming on the platform, they were reaching out to dozens and dozens of people, and the vast majority of those people were not responding to those engagements, and frankly, were harmed in that process.
I'm gonna show you this predator I caught. I sent a message in the chat and I got this guy messaging me.
Yes, okay, how old are you? I asked him back how old he is, and he says he's older than 18. I tell him I'm years old. Do you mind me being younger? No, not really. If you can keep it a secret between us, though. And he does Predator Strat 101. He asked for my Snap or Discord. And the reason why he's asking for Snap is because the messages delete. I tell him Discord, and I get on Discord with him, and the messages begin right away.
Throughout that entire process, where did I harm anyone? Because the real harm was Roblox letting this game exist on their platform for years. It only disappeared after Hindenburg, an investment research firm, went ahead and exposed Roblox for hosting this experience. And conveniently, it vanished the moment they showcased this predator catch. Notice as well how I wasn't the one to ask for Discord or Snapchat. The predator did. These were the sort of people interacting with our decoys, and so many people are becoming victimized from people exactly like this.
They were normalizing policy violations on the platform.
What Roblox's own algorithm recommends inappropriate items to people. Roblox actively hosts not safe for work games for children. Roblox themselves in this interview doubled down on one of the most infamous instances of inappropriate behavior that they've allowed for nearly a decade, and they're really going at me for normalizing policy violations. Absolutely unbelievable.
And the other piece is oftentimes the sort of evidence that was collected, the video evidence, was really difficult to verify, really difficult for us. And if law enforcement had to verify it, then they're talking about subpoenas and And so I think something that sometimes seems obvious to folks in the community really is just much more complicated on the back end.
I'm not sure how the evidence that I was sending you guys was hard to verify. I sent you guys screen recordings of us scrolling through the entire chat on mobile. And a lot of the stuff that happens is happening directly within Roblox. Like for instance, when Roblox refused to ban this predator, we got arrested in Hawaii. And he was literally talking in-game about planning the meetup in real life on Roblox. With all that being said, I wanted to ask someone who's been working with law enforcement and has been doing predator catching since before I was even born. So I decided to take a seat with Chris Hansen to catch some answers.
I'm Chris Hansen. I'm co-founder and correspondent reporter for the True Blue Streaming Crime Network. We do a lot of crime and investigative reporting. Our Takedown series, which exposes predators trying to exploit children online. And we also work on a number of documentaries, including this particular project, exposing the sort of thing that goes on Roblox.
I wanted to ask you about some of the comments that Roblox has specifically stated about like predator catching. One of the main complaints is pretending to be a child. I want to know your answer. It's kind of obvious, but the importance of using decoy accounts to just find different predators.
Well, we couldn't do it without using decoy accounts. In the very beginning, we had an online watchdog group, Perverted Justice, do that work, and now, and for the last several years, it's been members of law enforcement who have posed as children online, merely sitting in one of these areas, and they wait to be approached by somebody who is seeking to exploit children. And then the conversation takes place. It all happens according to the law, and then that gets turned over. Now, I understand that anytime somebody is not with law enforcement, it gives pause to a corporation. It's like, okay, here's this kid. We don't know whether he's following the rules properly. We don't know if he's running this by a lawyer. Maybe you could argue that they just don't want that sort of activity on their platform, but you think they'd be more worried about the activity that you're exposing.
That's what I've been trying to get at this whole time.
Let's worry about that, number one, and then you can have a conversation with young Schelp. I mean, if I were the CEO of Roblox, I would make you an ambassador for security. I would get out in front of this thing and do what would be a fantastic promotional move. I'm a little dumbfounded that they haven't figured it out, given that these guys are in the high-tech world who invented this stuff in some ways. Why don't they get ahead of it and get a young guy on their team? That's what I'm doing with you, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's not that hard to figure out. I learned a long time ago that if you're not listening to the youngest guy or girl in the room, you're missing opportunity. You have to evolve and you have to keep on top of this technology, and you have to bring new ideas into the room to do your job. My job is to expose bad people. You are helping.
I mean, the thing is, I've made it very, very clear to Roblox since the beginning. Give us a private line. We are open to communicate with you. We want to talk with you guys. We know a lot of these really bad actors, and the first official contact I had with them was the cease and desist letter.
It's horrible from a public image standpoint. I mean, you're killing the messenger, right? It's not like you're out there tracking these guys down with, tasers and smoke guns. I mean, you're providing information to the platform to do something about it.
One of the major complaints that Roblox had about me was that I was actually going to law enforcement first before sending their report, just so that they would have a start to finish conversation of everything that took place. Did you guys ever reach out to social media sites before this sting goes down?
No, we always go to law enforcement. We work with law enforcement in everything we do. And that is to ensure a successful prosecution. That's why the prosecution rate in these states is, like 99.1%. It's law enforcement first, then they can deal with the corporation. The corporation should be more concerned about reporting what it finds to law enforcement to investigate.
I'm going to read to you a quote from Roblox's corporate blog describing our operations. Similar to actual predators, they often impersonate actively approach users and then try to lead them onto different platforms to have explicit conversations. We obviously do not talk to these predators. We don't impersonate real children. Our decoys are, adults.
Well, I think if they're mischaracterizing what you're doing, that's wrong. Based upon what you said to me, you don't actively bait these guys in terms of making the first approach. You merely set up a profile as somebody who's underage, and you exist in that room until an adult approaches one of your decoys. Then if conversation takes place, they get exposed, and that information gets turned over to law enforcement. And in many cases, they do something, and then you report that both on your platform as a citizen journalist, a young guy working on these stories, and to Roblox to take action as a corporate citizen.
I thought it was kind of wild how they compared what we're doing to actual predators.
Well, if they're mischaracterizing what you're doing, yeah, that's horrible. This entire project is going to be healthy for Roblox, and it's going to be especially good for users of Roblox, because anything that creates awareness and a dialogue is important. And you need to tell parents that this stuff exists, that these dangers are out there, and that if your child is approached by a predator, they need to come to the parents. I mean, that's the first line of defense. It's great what you're doing. It's great what I do. And it's really great that law enforcement and the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children does all this work every day across the country. It's great that Roblox has a department that takes a look at some of this stuff. What's not great is the lack of connection here that could make it even better and safer. Until that happens, we have to show parents what goes on here, and they have to have the discussion with kids and say, hey, be careful.
What made you interested into getting into Roblox?
I was personally getting communications on social media saying, you need to look into this, you need to look into this, you need to look into this. And then we saw a big case down in Florida where a guy was arrested in Central Florida for and actually giving them Robux and having them exploit siblings and other. It made headlines down in Marion County, Florida. And so I started digging into it. We had good contacts with that sheriff's department there. And we actually, ironically, just did a predator sting, a takedown sting down there. So we started with an interview there. And it turns out that in the same jurisdiction, there was a 10-year-old girl who was exploited on Roblox by a man all the way over in England. And so we interviewed that victim's mother, and all of a sudden all these cases started developing, including the lawsuit by the Attorney General in Louisiana.
That's interesting you mentioned Florida, because we got an arrest there. We got it in Polk County, and it was a guy who possessed.
Polk County, as you know, is where Sheriff Grady Judd is, and they're very active in this space.
Oh, yeah.
We do work with them as well. First of all, it breaks my heart, and I'm so sorry that you had to deal with this as a younger guy on this particular platform. The fact that you were bullied and preyed upon and advantage of, and that it went to the extent it did. It breaks my heart, and this is why we do these investigations. But to see you at your age turn it into a positive and do something about it, I think is incredible and admirable.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
For a guy who's been kicking around doing this for 42 or 43 years now, it's really cool, because when I started on television, I was your age. I was 22 years old. So when I see a young person do this kind of work, it's very impressive to me, because I know what it takes.
Yeah, I mean, it's very crazy when you start looking into this stuff. I mean, it's a rabbit hole. Only gets more disturbing the more you see it.
Well, and since we announced that we're doing this documentary and that you are collaborating, I am overwhelmed.
Oh, yeah. I saw a tweet on Twitter. It got 160,000 likes that you're just even looking into the platform. Because that's the thing. People have known about these issues for so long, but journalists haven't done enough to really look into it. And now it's starting to break into the world where everybody is starting to start to be aware.
Well, now you're seeing more mainstream, outlets cover it. And look, we have the ability to infiltrate this world because we've been doing it for 21 years. First with To Catch a Predator, and for the last 2.5 years at True Blue, our streaming crime network, with Takedown. So we know how to do this and work with law enforcement. Now, a lot of people can go out and do this stuff independently, but here you are, a good example of somebody who has done the work and given it to law enforcement. And that's the key here, because if you expose these guys and make fun of them and do a Borat kind of thing like some other content creators, they often don't face the consequences. They don't have to register as a predator. They don't get prosecuted.
Yeah, and I think the thing is too, a lot of the reason why I have to make this content is because we reach out to Roblox, we give them the emails, we give them all the information. They don't respond until after we publish a video that gets millions of views on YouTube. It makes me concerned, because if we're getting that, what are real victims getting?
Look, I understand a little bit Roblox situation here. What they're trying to do is follow the protocol. When they see something, they are mandated to report that to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, which then refers it to law enforcement. And that's good, and they should be doing that. But why they wouldn't also take advantage of information given to them, wrapped with a bow around it, as you have done, it's stunning to me that they wouldn't see the opportunity here to be an ally of yours as opposed to somebody who they're making an example of and saying,
Oh, for sure.
the rules, Danny. I don't understand that. From a corporate citizen aspect, it doesn't make sense. From a public relations standpoint, it doesn't make sense. And from a justice-seeking standpoint, it doesn't make sense. So I don't know, and I hope that during the course of this, that I'll get a chance to sit down with somebody at Roblox. And I have a feeling that's going to happen. But I'm going to be posing all of those questions when that interview takes place.
To young people who look up to you and see predators in online spaces, what is the single most important step that they can take to protect themselves?
I would be hesitant to tell people to conduct their own investigations, but I'm adamant that you got to report this stuff to your local law enforcement agency. You got to report it to the service provider. You got to report it to the platform. Hopefully, between those three things, you get some action. I think 15, 20 years ago, law enforcement would be a little overwhelmed by this and say, if you're in a small town, you go to the police department, say this happened, they say, okay, well, I'm not sure how to investigate it. Well, today, every department has the ability to investigate this stuff, and they are very willing to take these cases on.
It's an absolute honor to have Chris Hansen featured on this channel. Chris Hansen is flying me out soon to actually feature in his Roblox documentary about exploitation. With everything that we've learned so far, one question persists. Why did I get this cease and desist? I'll let this alleged former Roblox employee answer this question for you.
You have to make a decision, right? You keep your players safe, but then it would be less of them on the platform. Or you just let them do what they want to do, and then all the numbers look good, and investors will be happy.
You might just be thinking this is one alleged Roblox employee. Well, Bloomberg is claiming that 8 Roblox employees told a very similar story to this in 2024. Roblox actively forces victims of the platform into arbitration, a tactic so unethical that platforms like Uber and Lyft actually have policies against doing this. The reason they're doing it is even more outrageous. Because this person received so many benefits from using the platform, he cannot now complain that Roblox is trying to prevent him from seeking justice in court for the life-altering harm he suffered. Here's why I personally care so much about this problem.
Who's been offered free Robux to do something that was inappropriate in the game? Or someone has said, I'll give you some free Robux if you come and follow me on Snapchat or TikTok or something like that. Who's had that happen? Okay, loads of you.
I've seen a lot of corruption in big tech, but I've never seen a company harm this many young people at the scale Roblox has. They can say whatever they want about safety or try to discredit me, but the arrests and their response to those arrests speak louder than any PR statement that they could possibly make. This isn't just about moderation. The rot goes all the way up to the CEO, a man whose vision includes adding dating to this platform and defending predatory games like Meep City. It's not even negligence, it's his literal philosophy. The narrative around Roblox needs to change. People have to understand what this platform actually is. Share what's happening, talk about it. Make sure your friends, parents, journalists, and lawmakers know how deep these problems run. Call your congressman and tell him you won't stand by while Roblox puts children in danger. I've been sounding the alarm for over a year as a whistleblower, and Roblox's leadership has tried to silence me. What needs to happen is David Baszucki needs to sit in front of Congress under oath, and he needs to explain why so many people have been abducted and abused on his platform, and why his company is choosing profits over safety.